Sasuke Uchiha is easily one of the most important characters of the Naruto series, and depending on who you might ask, he is the most interesting character of the franchise. We all know the story. Loving young boy who idolized his older brother, learns that said older brother massacred his clan, and Sasuke fell into a darkness that was so deep and so lonely that it took several years for his best friend Naruto to pull him out the depths of that darkness. Saving Sasuke was a part of Naruto's journey as a hero. However, today I want to take a closer look at Sasuke, but not in the way that some of you guys might be thinking. This is not going to be your average run-of-the-mill breakdown of Sasuke's character, because there are like 10,000 videos like that on YouTube. Instead, I want to use this video to launch a new series for the channel, which is The Hero's Journey and The Path of the Tyrant. As you can tell from this title, this video will focus on Sasuke Uchiha's journey as he traveled down the antagonist path of the Tyrant. Now, in order to properly understand this journey, we must first look at what the hero's journey and the antagonist path of the Tyrant are. For those of you who have been longtime subs of the channel, then you've heard me use these terms quite a bit in a lot of my older videos, in particular when it comes to some of my reviews, so I'll try to keep this part very brief while not skipping over any of the details for those of you who are new. Now, the hero's journey is just what it sounds like. It's the rise of a naive character to being the hero of his universe, gathering allies and skills as he or she faces numerous trials and tribulations. The story often starts off with some life-changing event that either serves as the call to action or it sets up the call to adventure, which sets the hero on a path filled with adventure and with danger. The payoff of all of this is when the hero returns back to his normal life, changed by his or her experiences, and attains some form of mastery over the world. For a character like Naruto, his hero's journey concluded when he became the 7th Hokage, since he was acknowledged as being the strongest of not only his village, but out of all the ninja villages. This brings us back to the antagonist path of the Tyrant. To say the path of the Tyrant is merely the mirroring of a hero's journey is to do it a severe disservice. There's a lot more to it than that. The antagonist journey can start one of two ways, either with the antagonist being at the height of their power and slowly descending into defeat, being bogged down by whatever their tragic character flaws are, or it can start off just like the hero's journey, where you have a life-changing event that happens and he or she continually makes the wrong choices, all while believing what they are doing is the right choice and that they are on the right and correct path. In a way, the antagonist is the hero of their own story. So as you can see, it is the choices that a hero or an antagonist makes when presented with this life-changing event that sets up the path that they walk on. And this brings us to Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto series creator Masashi Kishimoto has stated on numerous occasions that he began the story of Naruto with the intention of developing Naruto and Sasuke as equals, and a closer observation of their characters proves that this is the truth. When Naruto mastered a new power, so too did Sasuke. When Sasuke lost Itachi, Naruto lost Jiraiya, and so on and so forth. Given Kishimoto very closely followed the hero's journey, that makes Sasuke's path of the Tyrant a lot easier to understand. However, there are some complexities with Sasuke's journey that need to be looked at. The fact that Sasuke is one of the most human and fully fleshed out characters of this series is a huge plus, because when you have a character who has layers to him, it is a good thing. But this is even more so when we look at Sasuke Uchiha's path of the Tyrant, and we can fully appreciate what Kishimoto did in the Naruto manga. First, we must go all the way back to his childhood. Sasuke started out being loved and adored by his family. His father secretly bragged about him at night when he was speaking to his wife Makoto. His brother saw Sasuke's potential and loved him enough that he chose Sasuke over his clan. At the academy, Sasuke was seen as a prized pupil, loved by some and made a rival by others. This represented Sasuke in his everyday world. The call to action for Sasuke was on the night of the Uchiha massacre. Now, it should should be noted that the call of action doesn't have to be one that is freely made by the hero or the antagonist, but instead, he or she can be reluctantly dragged into it. For Sasuke, he came home from a day of training to seeing the corpses of his clansmen strewn all through the streets, and as he walked through the blood-soaked path of the Uchiha compound, he saw his older brother standing over the dead bodies of their parents. Itachi then made Sasuke live through the entirety of the Uchiha massacre, as well as implanting memories of their parents, all before Sasuke had a moment where he briefly passed out. As we all know, Sasuke awakened his Sharingan and chased after Itachi, but in the hero's journey, during this part of the story, the hero makes the right choice, the moral choice. For the villain, the great feeling of loss and suffering causes them to be blinded by either 1, their own ambition, or 2, they become made aware of the correct path to follow, and they forego that path to seek out vengeance. For Sasuke, when he was looking down into the water, thinking back on the events of the massacre, Sasuke began to take his first steps down the path of the Tyrant. It was symbolic, showing Sasuke looking into the water, staring at his own reflection. In those moments, it can be argued that whatever remained of the loving young boy that Sasuke once was had died as Sasuke looked into his own reflection. Training to kill his older brother fueled Sasuke. His reason to gain power wasn't the one that the hero chooses. Sure, avenging his clan was one thing, and it's even what Itachi expected Sasuke to do, but Sasuke in this moment made all of the wrong choices. The correct choice would have been for him to use the pain that he felt to become an accomplished ninja of Konoha and bring his brother to justice, making him a hero as Itachi wished for him to become. Sasuke's heart had been blanketed with so much darkness that in those moments he became blinded to the correct and true path. All that mattered was seeking out more power to stop Itachi and restore the Uchiha clan at all costs. Go back to volume 1 of the Naruto manga. When Sasuke talks about his purpose, he flat out states that talking about dreams is pointless, and that the only thing that matters is his plan to kill his older brother. For any hero, dreams are part of what lays the foundation for their character. Naruto's dream was to become Hokage and to become acknowledged by the village. It was a huge part of his character foundation. Naruto was presented with isolation and with hatred, but he chose to cling to his dreams as he walked down his path of the hero's journey. In this moment, 4 years after the Uchiha massacre, we see that Sasuke's heart has begun to be dipped in the darkness long enough that even Kakashi took note of it, which is pretty telling since Kakashi has seen his fair share of darkness up until that point in the timeline. This is also important to take note of because it was at this point that Sasuke was now on the path of the Tyrant and has continued to make the wrong choice time after time after time. When Sasuke shared his dream with Team 7, we are now formally at the part of the story where the hero, after accepting the call to adventure, now meets his mentor, which in this case would be Kakashi Hatake. Whereas Naruto accepted the call to adventure, Sasuke rejected it. To better understand the significance of this scene, I want to bring your attention to a quote by Joseph Campbell, who is the author of the hero's journey. This quote deals with the refusal of the call and will be very important going forward as we chart Sasuke's character arc, and it's here that I'm going to begin quoting. Refusal of the summons converts into adventure, and it converts this adventure into its negative. The subject loses the power of significant affirmative action and becomes a victim that needs to be saved. His flowering world becomes a wasteland of dry stones, and his life now feels meaningless. Whatever house he shall build, it shall be a house of death. All he can do is create new problems for himself and await the gradual approach of its disintegration. End quote. Now this should make you think about Sasuke's ultimate fate, which is being a victim that has to be saved, which is exactly what Naruto did when he finally defeated Sasuke at the Valley of the End in volume 72 of the Naruto manga. Now, death in this instance isn't literal, but it can instead be viewed as being symbolic. Sure, Sasuke forms bonds with Team 7 during the first 18 volumes of the manga, but after he meets Itachi and chooses to follow Orochimaru, the symbolic house that he built out of that friendship with Team 7 was being torn down. Kakashi sensed this, and hence why he warned Sasuke not to walk down the path of hatred and forsake his bonds with Konoha. All of this goes back to Sasuke's hate for Itachi, especially when it comes to his mentor and his student relationship with Kakashi. To better understand this, we must look back to what the mentor's role is in the hero's journey, and why Sasuke, now having refused this call, is being pushed further and further down the path of chaos by Kakashi, albeit unintentionally. And it's important to note that Kakashi is the very person who is charged with protecting Sasuke at this point in the story. The mentor's role is to become the guide and the helper of the hero as he begins to cross the threshold into adventure. Oftentimes, this is an older figure meant to both train and nurture the hero, but only after he or she has accepted the call. Whereas Naruto accepted the call a lot earlier in the timeline, Sasuke has rejected it. When Sasuke sees Kakashi use the Sharingan for the first time, he has a visible, strong reaction to this, and it can be traced back to his deeply rooted hatred for Itachi, and I'll explain why here. On the surface, we see Sasuke react in a visibly strong manner because Kakashi isn't someone of the Uchiha clan, and yet he possesses the Sharingan. However, unconsciously, Sasuke's thoughts can be tied back to Itachi. Sasuke at this point in the story not only hated Itachi, but everything that Itachi was. Seeing an older male possess the Sharingan no doubt brought back his memories of the Uchiha massacre, and seeing Kakashi effortlessly maximize the Sharingan's abilities versus Zabuza likely made Sasuke think back to his brother. Here, he saw an older male who's being held as a prodigy use the Sharingan to take down a deadly foe who was in the bingo book. His older brother Itachi was also a prodigy and possessed mastery of the Sharingan. As Joseph Campbell states in The Hero's Journey, the mentor is meant to provide a constant source of protection while also serving as a connection to the life that the hero left behind. For Naruto, Kakashi represented an awesome ninja who was highly praised and someone that Naruto aspired to be like and eventually surpass on his journey to being Hokage. For Sasuke, having refused his call, Kakashi pushed him further and further down the path of chaos that is known as the path of the Tyrant. The very man who was meant to protect him now had the Sharingan eye of Sasuke's clan, who Sasuke was the sole survivor of outside of Itachi. He possessed a level of mastery and skill that Sasuke likely associated with his brother, even more so since Sasuke didn't know the true power of Itachi and didn't know that Obito Uchiha was pretending to be Madara Uchiha. Kakashi's Sharingan was a reminder of the Uchiha massacre. That blood red eye reflected Sasuke's darkest memories every time Kakashi lifted his headband for battle or for training. For Sasuke, his desire to grow stronger was fueled by his budding rivalry with Naruto, but also subconsciously by seeing a skilled ninja wield the Sharingan in a way that he was likely reminded of by the very same older brother that he vowed to one day kill. This is the worst possible combination as Sasuke crosses into the threshold and quickly approaches the moment of separation, which is referred to in the hero's journey as the hero being in the belly of the whale. Joseph Campbell described the mentor guiding the hero past the threshold as being the personification of the hero's destiny as he or she is being aided down the entrance of this new world. In front of the hero are several paths: darkness, unforeseeable danger, the guiding hand of the parental figure, and finally leaving the protection of that said mentor as he or she enters into isolation, which is known as the belly of the whale. A path of darkness is the route that Sasuke chose, whereas Naruto chose the path that was being led by the guiding hand of his mentor. However, due to the shonen tropes, Kishimoto offered Sasuke brief moments to reset his hero's journey during the Land of Waves arc. We see him bond with Naruto through their training, and he even risked his life to save Naruto from Haku's attacks. However, it's because Sasuke was still dipped deeply in hatred that he was never truly pulled from the darkness as he and Naruto crossed the threshold and entered into the isolation. This brings us to one of the most critical moments for Sasuke as a character, the Forest of Death. Whereas Naruto fought with courage and conviction versus Orochimaru, Sasuke first reacted out of fear, and then, most importantly, he reacted out of pride as he activated his Sharingan to fight the legendary Sannin. For Sasuke, part of his drive was living through this encounter so he could kill his older brother, whereas for Naruto, it was just another obstacle that he had to climb over in order to achieve his dream as being Hokage. In this very moment, we see what happens when one accepts the call and when one refuses the call of action early on in the story. Sasuke's battle with Orochimaru is shorter than the one that Naruto had via interaction, though it should be noted that the manga version and not the filler added to the anime is what I'm referring to. It was symbolic in a way, showing the house that Naruto built, while it did have its chinks in it, would eventually stand, whereas Sasuke's house would slowly begin to crumble, as seen when Orochimaru gave Sasuke the curse mark. Orochimaru even warned Sakura and the readers of the manga that Sasuke would be consumed by his desire for power, and it shows that if there was any doubt before, Sasuke was now deeply on the route of the path of the Tyrant. Why is this so critical? Because the Chunin exams represents the moment of separation that I referred to earlier, which is better known as being in the belly of the whale. It's during this moment that the hero is presented with a challenge that both takes him away from his links from the world that he left behind and potentially separated from his mentor. In order to better understand this, I want to bring your attention to yet another Campbell quote about what happens during the period of separation, and it's here that I quote, "The hero is swallowed into the unknown. It gives emphasis on the lesson that the passage of threshold is a form of self-annihilation. Instead of passing outward, the hero goes inward to be born again. He is made aware of who he truly is." End quote. This part in the journey sees the first major test of the hero who's accepted the call, or in the case of Sasuke, someone who has rejected the call. His mentor Kakashi can no longer protect him or aid him in the battles that presented before themselves with Sasuke in the Chunin exams. After Orochimaru preys on Sasuke's darkness, the moment of self-annihilation begins. Sasuke is in his internal cave, where he must either embrace the darkness or he must vow to overcome it. The correct path would be to push through the darkness and enter into the light, just as Naruto did as he overcame his own weakness. Sasuke, when he emerged from his darkness, broke Zaku's arms and displayed a freakish amount of power that made everyone around him fear Sasuke. This was the first sign that Sasuke's self-destruction was incurring. Also, it was caused by the very power that he would one day eventually seek to control. Sasuke himself sensed this looming change, which is exactly why he freaked out upon realizing what he did. Now that he'd been pushed so far down the path of the Tyrant, not even his interactions with Team 7 could keep him from the darkness. Sure, he asked Naruto to save Sakura, but at the root of all of this was his memory of the Uchiha massacre, where he lost everything and Sasuke was in fear of losing everything. His actions weren't based out of loyalty so much out of the fear that comes from re-experiencing the Uchiha massacre, in this case losing the members of Team 7. However, watching Naruto defeat Gaara made Sasuke aware of his own mortality and, most importantly, of his own weakness, which is something that occurs in the moment of isolation. It's one of the factors that fueled him to chase after Orochimaru, because in that moment Sasuke was that helpless young boy who had to watch as Itachi walked out the Uchiha compound after slaughtering everyone. Sasuke wanted to defeat Itachi, and yet he knew he didn't have the power to do so, all while the knuckle-headed member of his team was growing more and more powerful, and Sasuke feared that Naruto would eventually surpass him. Whereas the hero, Naruto Uzumaki, was overcoming his trials and obstacles, getting closer and closer to his Hokage dream. Naruto watched as Sasuke felt as if he was being pushed further and further away from his purpose, and arguably viewed the curse-marked power while being evil just like Itachi, which is why he initially refused using the power. However, Sasuke eventually gave into this thirst to use this power, to embrace a power that led him to breaking Zaku's arms, and only being a few moments away from killing him likely made Sasuke compare himself to Itachi, who he deemed as being pure evil. During Team 7's separation from Kakashi, Naruto was being transformed into a hero right before our very eyes. However, Sasuke was on the path of the Tyrant. The trials continued as Sasuke learned of Itachi's return to the village and rushed off with the intention of killing him. During the hero's journey, there are a set of major trials that can range from as few as 3 to as many as 12. The hero responds to failure by seeking the aid of others and looking deeply into himself for the answers. The Tyrant either runs from this failure of their trial, or they become consumed by it and they end up creating figurative dragons that they are unable to slay due to their character flaws, and it makes them harder to be pulled from this darkness. Itachi's words to Sasuke before placing him under the Tsukuyomi served as yet another straw that began to break the camel's back. Sasuke wanted to do the right thing. Itachi was someone that he viewed as being evil, and that evil was now after his comrade Naruto. However, because the house that the Tyrant builds is destined to fall, Sasuke was being consumed by his hatred upon seeing Itachi, which led to his defeat. When he comes out of his coma, Sasuke's mind is pretty much made up to enter into this darkness willingly, to embrace the evil power of the curse mark and the fruits of the temptation of the training that comes from Orochimaru, even if it meant giving up his body to kill Itachi. Whereas in the hero's journey, the hero has aligned himself with helpers, both male and female, to help him in his quest. In Sasuke's case, he's aligned himself with the main antagonist for this portion of the series and has willingly strayed off the path of the hero. In the moment Sasuke walked away from Naruto at the Valley of the End, he willingly entered into the abyss, and that is a huge thing for his character. Kishimoto, during the second part of the series, made it a point to show that somewhere inside of Sasuke, there were still signs of the good-natured young boy who started out on the path of the hero and idolized his brother and father, and one day hoped to join the police force just like his father was. Sasuke had a chance to kill Naruto like he did at the Valley of the End during their first fight, but he didn't. Yes, Naruto was exhausted from his prior fight with Orochimaru, and Sasuke was stopped by Orochimaru, and Sasuke also didn't fight with the intention to kill them. However, he did fight to harm, yes, but to kill, not so much. He was toying with Team 7. Right before Orochimaru tried to take Sasuke's body, he refused to kill the men that Orochimaru assembled during the training session, which shows that whatever moral compass he developed while being in the house of Fugaku Uchiha was still theirs. However, it should also be noted that the Tyrant would willingly kill for power, but Sasuke refused. However, hidden behind all of this was also the notion that Sasuke would kill Itachi, or someone that he viewed as being equally evil to Itachi. Thus, proving that he had strayed off the path of the hero, and yet ironically still had the heart of a hero, somewhere buried underneath all of this talk of darkness and vengeance. The next crucial step in the path of the Tyrant is the moment of gaining full understanding of his purpose as he enters into his inmost cave. For those of you who don't know, the inmost cave is the moment when the hero, or the antagonist in this case, reflects to overcome the doubt that has been caused by yet another failure on his path. He emerges from this cave with both full understanding of himself as he undergoes one more transformation and enters back onto the path wiser than he was before. For Naruto, this moment came when he learned of Jiraiya's death. It led him to learn Sage Mode and eventually learn to choose forgiveness over hatred, as seen with his conversation with Nagato, where we see Naruto go from hatred to being able to forgive. It falls in line with the decisions that the hero makes when he's on the hero's journey. However, for Sasuke, he succeeds in killing his older brother, even if the death of his brother was more so the fatal illness that Itachi had. However, when he learns the truth about Itachi, Sasuke enters into a mental breakdown. His entire world was flipped upside down. The evil brother that he thought that he killed was really the loving older brother that Sasuke remembered from his childhood. The village that Sasuke called home for almost 13 years was now seen as the villain responsible for robbing him of his clan and taking away his older brother, who Sasuke now knows suffered throughout the years since the Uchiha massacre. Whereas Naruto chose forgiveness, Sasuke left his inmost cave fueled by more hatred than ever before, emotion that was so strong his eyes developed the Mangekyo Sharingan as he mourned the loss of his brother. This is also known as the portion of the hero's story where he comes to a full understanding of himself, his enemy, and the world that he's re-entering. For Sasuke, this meant destroying the village that caused his brother pain and starting it off with killing the remaining elders of Konoha. The small whisper of a hero who wouldn't kill before was now willingly killing samurai and anyone who got in his way. Sasuke as a character had been fully redefined by his transformation after learning the truth about Itachi. Everything at this point sees Sasuke being set up for the final stage in the path of the Tyrant, which is better known in the hero's journey as being the hero's return, but for the purposes of this video, we shall call this the downfall. If this were the hero's journey, the hero would now have all the tools needed to clear his final obstacles and accomplish his intended goal. However, for the Tyrant, this is the moment where they begin their final spiral into defeat. After meeting Itachi and defeating Kabuto, Sasuke chooses to meet the dead Kage before entering into the war. On the surface level, it appeared that Hashirama's words taught Sasuke to see the light and that he was now back on the path of the hero. We even see him gain the aid of a supernatural being, better known in the hero's journey as the final mentor or the godly being, when the Sage of Six Paths bestows Sasuke with part of his power. However, we later learned that Sasuke planned to completely destroy the ninja system by using that same power. He planned to kill the 5 Kage as they were under the genjutsu of the infinite Tsukiyomi. He planned to kill Naruto Uzumaki, the only person who could hope to stop him. He planned to have the Biju undo these infinite Tsukiyomi, which was confirmed as Hagoromo as being something that was possible, and then Sasuke planned to kill them. At that point, he would be able to be on the path of the Tyrant by ruling as a tyrant, which is something that broke Naruto's heart as Naruto listened to his plan. For Sasuke, he believed the only way to fix the ninja system was to completely destroy it and then be the force of hatred that united the world, just as Kabuto and Obito united the ninja villages by going to war. Going all the way back to the refusal of the call, we have to remember Campbell's words. Any house that the Tyrant builds will be a house of death, which was essentially what Sasuke was building, and in the end, he would only make himself into a victim that would need to be saved. This brings us to Naruto versus Sasuke. Naruto heard Sasuke's plan to both use forbidden Uchiha Jutsu and use the Rinnegan to live forever, which in theory Sasuke could have done. Sasuke didn't just want to live in the darkness, but instead he wanted to become the darkness, all in the hopes of doing the world a favor by forcing them to be united, all while doing away with the cornerstones of the previous ninja system in a very twisted way. It goes back to Sasuke's selfless nature that he showed signs of before, especially when he was a child, where he didn't fully force anyone to do anything against their will and he put others before him. In this way, Sasuke was intending to put the will of the entire world before him by choosing the existence of darkness so the world would never have to know the pain that Sasuke experienced by losing everything that the ninja system stripped away from him when they made Itachi massacre the Uchiha clan. It's why Naruto fought so desperately to bring Sasuke back from the darkness. When Sasuke told him to stop holding back, Naruto went on to exhaust every ounce of the Kyuubi's chakra and took advantage of the Kyuubi's warning that Sasuke's Rinnegan was still new and it wasn't fully mastered to the point that he could absorb ninjutsu and attack at the same time. And this is what allowed Naruto to save his friend. If Naruto was to save his friend from the darkness, it had to be here and now in that final moment during their battle. As we all know, pulling Sasuke from the darkness literally cost Naruto an arm as he blew his and Sasuke's arms off. Though it can be seen as a bit drastic, this was needed for someone like Sasuke who was so deeply rooted in the darkness. Sasuke would only acknowledge Naruto, which meant that only Naruto, someone on the hero's journey, could pull Sasuke off of the path of the Tyrant. In the moments afterwards, Sasuke faced the final outcome of the villain who is on the path of the Tyrant, which is the trinity of outcomes as I like to call it. This is a set of 3 outcomes for the antagonist on this path. The first is remaining so steeply rooted in darkness that the death of this character is the only outcome. The next is being defeated and yet having a strong enough impact on the world that their evil deeds still have an impact on the world for generations to come. Then the final is being saved by the hero, which is the path that Sasuke took. By choosing this path, the character of Sasuke was brought back across the threshold and he was now placed on the hero's journey that now focuses on redemption. Whereas Naruto ended his hero's journey by becoming a Hokage, Sasuke was spared death as he spiraled down the path of the Tyrant, and he was allowed one final chance of properly following the hero's journey, except this time he does so from the shadows, working to redeem himself for his own morally great decisions. So that's it for my first installment of the Path of the Tyrant. I will be working on a hero's journey for Naruto Uzumaki, but I'm planning to save that one for October when Naruto's birthday hits us. So let me know which character in Naruto you'd like to see me cover next, either for the hero's journey or for the Path of the Tyrant. And as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, guys.